All right, guys. Happy Friday. Can you believe it? In just a couple weeks, we're going to be open Christmas gifts. Who knows? This is what, in 2 weeks, this will be like that no man's land between Christmas and New Year's where no one has
Yeah.
any idea of time or space or date or anything. So excited, excited for that time. But before then, I am super, super excited. We have two very special guests, husband and wife team, out there kicking butt, taking names in the Memphis markets. They are going to be sharing their story on, why they got into real estate, their backgrounds, how they kind of found success, and what their mentality was getting to that point. So I don't want to just drone on and on. I will let you guys introduce yourself. And after you introduce yourself, tell us kind of what you guys do now and why the heck did you guys pick real estate to go and endeavor on. So, guys, go for it.
Hi, I'm Courtney.
I'm Nick.
I actually am a union pipe fitter by trade. I've been in the trade for 30 years, close to retirement, but unfortunately not close enough.
How many
Um,
women are in the Union Pipe Fitters Union? I would like to know that. It's probably not a big
well,
contingent.
yeah, well, when I started, there were not very many.
Yeah,
Of course, like I said, that was 30 years ago, but there are definitely more and more women getting involved in the trades,
sure.
which is amazing. So I'm really excited about that.
That's great.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I never really thought about real estate myself. Um, I have done a lot of remodels. My brother, I don't know, probably 20 years ago, bought a couple houses to renovate and rent or flip, and so I helped him rehab some of those, and I've pretty much completely remodeled my entire house also. So
Nice.
I've got a lot of experience. I know
Okay,
how to pretty much do anything, except for roofing. That's the only thing I don't know
that's
a
fair.
lot about. And then so when Nick and I met, we decided to rehab his house and turn it into a rental when he
Nice.
moved in with me. And we were just like, hey, let's keep this going, pretty
Yeah, I
much.
love that. You got
Yeah.
suckered into another rehab project. Good work.
Yeah.
I couldn't have had some of the best help, I'm telling you. She really
Yeah, yeah, it
knows what
sounds
she's
it.
doing. Well, I drive heavy haul throughout the Pacific Northwest, and so a lot of times you guys see me in the semi. I'm driving and I'm trying to listen to the weekly calls, I'm trying to, earn while you learn,
Yeah.
and I've always loved real estate. I studied to be a realtor um, during COVID, and
Okay.
um, I just kind of came to the realization that I didn't think that it was going to be something I would be able to do full time, but I
Got it.
still wanted to do real estate. And when I met Courtney, we had talked about it, and I said, I really like to rent this house out. I want to see how that goes. I want to try to do that. So we actually put that together. It took us about 3.5 months. And to do, I mean, we did everything a little bit better than we probably should have for a rental,
Yeah.
and then we turned it into a rental, and it has been very successful.
Great. Love
It
hearing that.
it rents for about just under 3,000 a month.
Okay.
It's been leased out for just about 2 years, and it's been a good journey, a learning
Yeah.
journey, but it has been, profitable. And we talked about it, and Courtney and I said, you know what? Hey, let's start digging in. About a year ago, we said let's start digging in and
Okay.
start learning more and more about investing, because this is more of an avenue I can see myself going down and being profitable with. This is something that we can do. Not
I
only
love
that, but
that.
if you think about it, in different business aspects that I've been in, there's a lot of positivity when you're trying to serve other people. When
Hmm.
you work on serving others, when it comes full circle, you're literally serving yourself and doing your communities, a good thing. And
Absolutely.
that can really help. So I really see an incredible future here in real
I
estate.
love that. So, you guys start out like most people when they get into rental properties, is they just decide not to sell their existing residence, turn it into a rental property. It works out one of two ways, right? The management's either a nightmare or it goes really well. It went well for you guys, and you're like, oh man, we can keep doing this if we just multiply this 10 or 20 times, that'd be great.
Yep.
So that's how you kind of stepped into that. What's as you went down that path of saying, "Hey, I want to keep doing rental properties." What was the goal? Like what are you guys trying to achieve through this process? Like what are you hoping to kind of let's say in 3 or 5 or 10 years come out the other side and say, "Hey, this is what we were able to do and this is what our goal was."
Well, our main goal, we've kind of gone through it, and in 5 years, we'd both like to be retired from our W-2s.
Love it. Okay.
So yeah,
For
so
sure.
or sooner would be nice. Yeah,
Yeah, it's fair.
definitely. We're hoping to get at least 10 houses a year.
Okay. 10 houses a
To
year. All
try,
right, let's
yeah,
go.
to reach that goal. So, I mean, like I said, I'm really close to retiring from
Yeah.
my trade anyways. But the sooner I can, the better.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
been a rough journey on my body. That's one
I
thing
can
that helped
imagine.
us get this house is I've been home since August because I had surgery, a pretty extensive surgery on my arm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I haven't been working, and I don't think I'll be back to work until February.
Wow.
So yeah, so I'm hoping to start this next year off with a bang and try to get in a couple houses before I go back to work.
I love that. I love that. And is there like a number in terms of like a dollar amount you're trying to get to every month that'll
Mhm.
help support you guys? Because obviously, Courtney, you'll walk away with a pension, I'm sure, and
Yep.
and Nick, I don't know about you, but there'll be some retirement support. It sounds like. What's the number you're looking for from cash flow?
Oh
Uh,
boy.
we know annually.
Yeah, we figured out annually what we need. Between the two of us, it's about 225,000 a year.
Okay, so big number.
Yeah, it's a big number.
That's about 15 to 17,000 a month.
Yeah, so
Yep.
around 15,000 a month.
Okay. All right. And is that of that $15,000 a month, you want all of that to come from rental properties, or are you looking to, okay, so that's all from rental properties.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So we have our number, our gauntlet has been set. Well, let's talk about, well, technically it's the second one that we got into this portfolio. Fill us in. This has been a journey for you guys. I know it's your first foray in investing outside of your backyard. Fill us in on the deal. How'd you find it? Kind of like take us through the process and the numbers. I know everyone's super interested in hearing how this took shape.
Mm.
Yeah, well, the deal kind of fell in our lap. We were actually on a coaching call,
Okay.
and a message came through from one of the Facebook groups I belong
Okay.
to, and
Yeah.
so it was from a wholesaler.
Hmm.
And so it popped up on Facebook, and we looked at it real quick, and I messaged him right away. And so that's kind of how we got the deal.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so we were kind of going back and forth with the wholesaler. He happened to actually have a general inspection
Okay.
that was done for the seller.
Yep.
And so that kind of gave us an idea of the majority of things that needed to be fixed on the
Okay.
property.
Yep.
Yeah, so I just went through and I did some comps on the property,
Hmm.
and then we were able to do our deal analysis off of that general inspection.
Love
And
it.
so that's how we came up with our numbers and knew that this deal would be a good deal and work out for us.
Now,
Um,
did you have to negotiate at all, or was it priced pretty well? How'd that work out?
it it was priced pretty good because originally he had it listed for 68,000, I think it was.
Okay.
And then when the message came through from the wholesaler, it was dropped down to 45.
Oh wow! So it got cheap quick. That's
Yes.
good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So we got it for 45. It sounds like I'm just writing these numbers down for
Yeah.
us. All right.
Well,
Cool.
actually,
I negotiated a
Nick was
little bit.
able to negotiate a few thousand off. So the purchase price was 42.
Oh, nice.
I was
Okay.
shooting for
Okay.
35.
Yeah,
That's what I was trying to
You guys
do.
wanted it for free. It
yeah,
sounds
pretty
like.
much.
We'll give a little bit.
Awesome.
Well, the part about this property, if you mind if I
Yeah, go ahead.
is that this particular property was another investor's property
Yep.
who actually belongs to RPP Group, and
Yep.
He had run into some trouble with a different contractor, many people know of, and had some issues with him. And so I think he was just pretty much trying to sell it, get out from underneath
Yep.
it. Completely understandable. So, when I was negotiating with the wholesaler, the consignment agent, he, kind of explained a little bit of that to me. And I said, I
Yeah.
kind of understand that situation. And he said, we do have another offer for about $2,000 more. And I said, well, at the time, I said, I'm really looking at having to finance this deal myself, which isn't something
Yep.
I planned on doing. But So I remember looking at that property when Courtney first showed me because she did a very extensive search and
Yeah.
came up with a lot of different properties. And we saw that property and I said, "Oh no, man, that thing's got foundation problems. We don't know
Yeah.
nothing to do with that." So I was Skip.
Next thing you know, you're buying it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, here we are.
Awesome. Well, you
So
guys financed it in a really unique way as well, too. I'd love to hear more about that, kind of, how you wound up doing that, because I think that's a way that a lot of people probably don't understand that you can buy properties, and so love to hear more about that.
Well, so Courtney and I kind of, as we worked through this as a team, we tried to split it up to where our workloads are even because there's a lot of moving parts, of course, with
Yeah.
real estate, right? So I decided to take on the financing portion of this, and in doing so, I got set up with a different group that we were going through. I'd gotten set up through something that Rental Property Pro actually has on their referral page, a group called Fund and Grow. And
Hmm.
I wasn't really too sure how this was going to go. And we actually were able to split the cost with a different student. And so it really only cost about like $1,800 is about all it
Nice. To
cost.
become part of Fund and Grow, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, to become
Yep.
part of Fund
Oh,
and Grow. But they really line you up and set you up to be able to do your first round of funding pretty well. So I had
yep.
to
And
make
this
some
is for
change.
business credit, right? Fund and
Yes,
Grow.
for
Yep.
business credit. Yep. So I had to make some changes on my personal because, of course, business credit will look at your personal
Yep.
and had to move some money around and get balances under, 30% or so,
Yep.
50% is what they wanted to see. And so once I did that, we did our first round of funding and scored about $30,000 off the first
Nice.
round. And so, but it still just didn't seem to be quite enough, especially in our backyard to be
Hmm.
able to, invest. So
Yeah.
the second round came along and that just bumped us up to just under $100,000.
Oh, wow. Nice. Okay.
25,000 of that I actually went to the credit union. I have a good relationship with the credit union, and I talked to them about it, and they said, "Hey, let's put you in touch with our business lending."
Yep.
And so they put me in touch with their small business lending, and they said, "We'll give you an unsecured business line of credit for 25,000."
That's great.
This is huge because this type of this isn't just credit cards. So Fund and Grow set me up with the credit cards, but doing this through the credit union set me
Yep.
up with $25,000 that I can move into any account at any time.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So this really helps when you're trying to show reserves or things like that. Now it's not as much as a lot of hard money lenders like to see, but it still gives you that
It's
option.
enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
So with doing that,
No, go ahead.
oh, with doing that, we were able to fund this project on our own. So we purchased the property using 0% APR credit cards. And
Beautiful. That's awesome. You hear that, guys? You can buy houses with credit cards, right?
Yep.
I've heard it done before. I really didn't think it was possible. I was like, you got to have some sort of special guru skills or something. And honestly, the coaching calls that we did with John, with you, and with Tim, Robert, Jennifer, all of your coaches, Ricardo, really helped add all those little pieces together to be able
Yep.
to do that. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely. I know Tim is the king of buying stuff with credit cards. Like he all the time he's like, "Oh, like we'll buy this stuff with credit cards or that." I'm like, "All right, man, go for it." Like
Yeah.
so that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you funded it, the purchase and the renovation, right, with the line of credit and the credit cards, right?
Yep.
All right, cool. What's so fill us on the renovation. Just so everyone knows, you guys just got back from Memphis. You went down, you got on an airplane to do your own little walkthrough. Project was a little bit behind. You can share a little bit about that, but kind of talk us through how big the renovation was, what it wound up costing you, what problems or good things happened, bad things happened. So, take us through it all.
Yeah, so we went to Memphis on actually on Halloween first to walk the
Okay.
property with the contractor and go through everything that we wanted done. We knew there was one wall that was the kitchen and bathroom wall had
Mm-hmm.
been pretty rotted out from water damage, extensive water damage
Yeah.
from a bad roof. So we knew that wall had to be reframed and done. But as we were walking the property, we found another sidewall that was
Like an exterior wall, right?
Yeah.
exterior wall that was also damaged from extensive
Water damage.
water damage. So that also had to be reframed.
Okay.
There was some um, foundation issues that needed to be fixed. Giant hole in the flagstone that the
Yeah.
other contractor had just like almost looked like he took a sledgehammer and just knocked a hole in it.
Guess he
Yeah,
needed to get
but
under the subfloor. I don't know.
yeah. Which is another thing is there was really no crawl space access.
Yeah.
And so the house had been completely gutted already.
Okay.
So we didn't have to do anything with that. But it's definitely a completely brand new full rehab that needs to
Yeah,
be done.
you guys went big on your
Yeah,
first project. You
yeah, a
went
little more
big.
than we had planned on, but it's moving along. It had needed a new roof,
Okay.
um, new water heater, new
Love
furnace.
it.
You
Um,
see.
got a brand new AC unit in it. But yeah, I mean it was listed by the seller as a 3-1. And when we
Mm-hmm.
got there, we were like, there's no third bedroom. There was only a 2-1.
Whoops.
So yeah, so the county has it listed as a 2-1.
Okay.
So we were able to uh take down a wall, partial wall, and add some doors in to make an actual third bedroom.
Nice. Okay. So you have a full 3-1. Beautiful.
Well, and then there was an additional room off of the master bedroom that they had to remove the ceiling and that was the exterior wall that needed to be
Yeah.
reframed.
That was a weird room.
Yeah, it was a weird room. It came down and was slanted really bad.
Yeah.
And so we had them remove that and make it a 8-foot ceiling, and we turned
Okay.
that little extra room into a full master bath.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
now
So we
it's a
got a
3-2.
3-2. All right.
Yes.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
The contractor had hoped to have it finished by Friday, last Friday, so that's why we flew down.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it is about 2 weeks behind schedule. But they are definitely getting things done and moving along. And
Good.
he sent us some pictures last night, and the shower walls are finally tiled, and the kitchen's coming together. And so,
Soffits.
yep, all the soffits outside were redone. So I think they're trying to get the exterior completely finished and painted
Good.
today because it's supposed to be a really nice day down there.
I love it.
Um,
And just as a coaching moment, as I'm thinking about if they're going to get the exterior done today, have Robert get a for rent sign in the yards immediately. They won't be able to go into the home, obviously, but at least maybe start collecting some phone numbers and some applications on the property.
okay.
Um, and so we're in it for 42. What's it all boils down, right? So after we add a bathroom and all these fun things, where are we going to be in a rehab budget scenario?
So the rehab budget, we're at about 53.
Yep. We're about 53 on the rehab. Some of the extra things that came up that we needed to do. We knew we needed to set aside at least a 10% reserve, and that was
Great.
our goal. And I actually had set aside a 20% reserve. 10% of
That's
that was out
great.
of my personal credit.
Yep.
I didn't want to use it if I didn't have to, but it did come down to where we've had to kind of dig in a little bit there. But we're still in good shape as far as the numbers go. I think
Good.
if when we get the final numbers and the appraisal, Um, we'll see where we land on that. But best educated guess, I believe we're going to break even. We were looking at bringing some money back in from the
Yep.
BRRRR, which could still be a possibility, but I always look at it as I'm going to be, worst case scenario. What's the
Yeah.
worst case scenario? And
So
then when
let's do the numbers together. What do you think you're going to be all in at? Like 100 grand or more?
about 103, but that includes our airfare.
Yeah, we included
All
all our
right.
big
Well,
trip.
hey, you got a free vacation to Memphis, Tennessee out of it. Just what you wanted, right?
Yeah.
Exactly what you wanted. So you're in
Yeah.
it for 103.
Mhm.
Um, I think you guys are going to use Ethan and the team for the
hmm
refinance.
hmm
So you'll be working with Lynn as the appraiser.
Yep.
What are you guys feeling on the ARV? What do you think you're gonna bring home there on that ARV?
Um, well, Ethan came up with just desktop about 145 to 150.
Okay.
So we're hoping at least 145.
Yeah.
Okay. So we
Minimum.
can do 147,500, right? We'll split the
Split
difference,
it.
right? So 145,700, right? You're probably going to do a 75% loan to
Yeah.
value. Is that what you guys are
Yep.
thinking? Perfect. So that'll bring you in. It's basically 109, $110,000 on the back end. So yeah, I mean, Nick, I love how you're super conservative. So we'll call it break even, but I think you might walk away with 4 or 5 grand in your pocket
Nice.
to start on the next one, which will be awesome. But that's a win, guys. I mean, you bought a
Yep.
Yeah.
rental property for free. Now, granted, you put in a lot of time and a lot of effort, but I always say like, if you don't have money, you got to put in time, right? Like
Yep.
Hmm.
that's the other side of it. And you guys devoted time and you're walking away with a rental property you have to pay for, right? Which is awesome.
Yeah.
What from a rental standpoint, I know you were talking with Roberts and the team that's going to be managing it down there. Where are you going to fall in terms of rental numbers?
Hmm. So, talking to Robert, and kind of, looking at it, he asked me point blank, what are you thinking of renting it for? And I said, well, I'd like to see, I know, looking at historical rents, particularly in that area, are a little bit lower than this. But I said, I'd like to see, um, minimum 12 to
Okay.
1350. So I think we're going
Okay.
to push for 1350 and see where that lands.
Love it. And you guys are doing market or are you going to put it on for Section 8?
I talked to Robert about that and I was a little reluctant about the Section 8. It's not just
Yeah.
necessarily the tenants, it's also, things you got to think about sometimes when the government shuts down.
Yeah.
That Section 8 is paid by the government. So when that happens, it could be a little bit of turmoil there. But I decided to go with it and say, okay, we could possibly do
Nice.
Section 8. And so, yeah, we're going to try to stay open the
That's
options.
awesome. Yeah, so you'll be in it for around 109, 110,000, I think, loan amounts, right? We'll be at, 12 to 1350 a month at rents. Those numbers are really, really good. What are your cash flow numbers you think on your end that you've calculated? What's the range there?
Uh, I think the cash flow came out to about right around 250 a month.
Okay, with potential with including maintenance and vacancy and all
Yeah.
that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
cool,
Yep.
Yep.
cool.
Including the 5% maintenance and vacancy.
Perfect. I knew
Yep.
you guys would be conservative on that too. Good,
Yeah.
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I love it. So we got the first project done. Everybody's going to want to know what are your learning lessons? First time out-of-state
Ooh.
investors going through this process. What are things that you would tell yourselves 6 months ago when you started this journey that you wish you knew then?
Oh boy.
I can I
Too
say
many
Yeah.
to
time
Yeah,
too
go
many
I've
to
got
ahead.
mention.
a, I've got a good idea what I would really say to myself 6 months prior to this. I would say do more of your due diligence.
Okay, okay. In what
Dig
regard?
in. In regards to exactly like the county records, because
Hmm.
as we bought this as a 3-1, as we're already under contract and EMD is already on the line, we
Yeah,
looked at the county records and we're like, what? This is
yeah.
something I
It's
probably
two
should have
one.
done.
Before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ahead of time. Yeah.
Okay.
So I definitely would say, and then also when when we were looking at how we were financing it, one mistake that I made is I was so worried about making sure that I closed on the closing day because I didn't know that you could actually maybe extend it out 1 or 2 days.
Oh yeah.
Now, had I been able to do that, I probably would have saved myself about $1,200 in fees which is
Okay.
what those cost to put the credit cards, to put the purchase on the credit cards.
Got it. Okay.
So remember, there's always, you want to do this, you'll want to wire the money to title the minimum of 4 days in advance. You want to be
Hmm.
prepared for that. That helps.
Oh, you're so nice. You're so nice. I'm like scrambling and wiring the day of. Like, I think it'll be there on time, guys. Hopefully.
But that's what costs so
That's what
much
cost
money.
us.
And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
said I probably saved about $1,200 on that, And when you're looking at, doing the rehab and getting involved in the rehab, every little bit starts adding up. Next thing you know,
Yeah.
you're 4 or 5 thousand or 7 or 8 thousand or twelve
Yep.
thousand. So it can really add up to what comes back to you potentially when the deal's finally closed in DSCR.
Mhm.
Yeah. I love that. Awesome. Awesome feedback. And what kind of help me understand the process that you guys went through to take this leap, right? I feel like, so many new investors or students get stuck in this circle of like just analyzing and maybe
Mhm.
not making offers. And,
Mhm.
they get frustrated because like that leap from like making offers to doing a deal or analyzing to doing a deal seems so far. Like what got you guys over that edge to say, hey, we're just gonna go for it? What was that factor?
Well, like Nick said, gosh, we've been working on this for just about a year now, the
Yeah.
training
I
and
guess you've
everything.
done a lot of educating, right?
We've done a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah, it's
educating,
fair.
yes.
And now
And
paralysis by analysis.
yeah, and
Yeah.
so it was finally, I think we just finally said, we just gotta do it.
Yeah.
We can sit here and come up with excuse after excuse well, maybe we need to study this a little more, or maybe
Yeah.
we need to learn about this a little more. And kind of like what you say a lot in the coaching calls is just make the offers, because you're not going to
Yep.
get every house with every
No way.
offer. So it was just kind of we just decided we just had to do it. It was
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. And
I
I also
think
like to say I've been doing this for 18 years, right? Like you're never going to know everything, right?
Yeah.
There are things that still surprise me today. I'm like, what is that?
Hmm.
So, you're never going to be fully educated, right? You
Right.
just got to have, just be smart enough to be dangerous
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
have someone watching your back like Tim or
Yeah.
any of the coaches and just jump in.
Yep. Well, and that's the biggest thing is, this group is absolutely amazing. I
Thank
mean,
you.
you and all the coaches are so helpful,
The
and
support is
the
tremendous.
support is amazing, and it just helps with that mindset of, yeah, we can do it. And if we come across a problem,
Confidence.
we have somebody there to help us,
Yep.
and so it's just, this program's just been the best thing we could have ever done.
I
Yeah.
would say,
Well, thank you.
oh,
Go,
sorry, go
keep
ahead.
going, Nick. Go for
Oh,
it.
I'm sorry to cut you off, John. The confidence, the personal touch with being able to do the one-on-one coaching calls with you guys really builds that confidence.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are scared to make any type of mistake. We still are. Um,
But you made mistakes, right? But it all
we
Yep.
was
did.
okay,
We
right?
did. But we're still alive. Everything's still okay. Everything's still on
Yeah.
track. And so, having what you guys provide versus what a lot of other um, groups or things that are out there for real estate, I think is really what sets you apart. It really puts you guys, in a whole different category above because of the ability to be able to schedule a coaching call with
Yeah.
you, our coaching calls with all the other coaches. And not only that, but the experience and extensive knowledge that you guys provide when we do run into some situations. You're like, oh, okay,
Yep.
have you tried this? Have you looked at that? Having that really provides a tremendous amount of confidence. And now I'm ready to go paint the town with offers. I
I
really
love
am
that.
because I've
Absolutely.
learned from you that you're not locked in. You
Yeah,
always go
not at
into an
all.
offer with, at least a 14 to 30 day contingency period for your due
Yep.
diligence. You're allowed that, and you don't have to put any EMD down. So if there's
Yep.
stuff you don't like, you want to walk away just because you don't like the color of the house, there's no
Exactly.
reason we should be putting out offers like 100 a week, you know? I
Yep.
mean, so
That is the best part that I think people struggle with is like, until you're out of your due diligence period, there's zero risk,
yep.
right? And that, you got to get yourself to the point where you have the opportunity to buy the house. And that only comes by having a contract, right? And you
Mhm.
guys are realizing this. You got through your first one, but what's great is you built your team, right?
Mhm.
If you think about it, right, we just had this conversation before we got on this call is, you had to find that contractor, you learn how to communicate with him, you had to set a standard, which he had to learn. You had to find your property manager and your boots on the ground to do
Yep.
inspections, right? So the learning curve is very steep out of the gate. But now that you have that set up, now it's like, okay, I know who to call for everything that I need when it comes up, right?
Yep.
Which is
Yep.
is just going to make the next, 30 projects that much easier. So that
Yeah.
should help you
Exactly.
significantly. I love that.
And you guys provided all of those referrals and all the boots on the ground.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
So that was huge, huge, I think, when it came to being able to be successful in getting
Yeah.
this far. Absolutely.
Yep.
That's great, guys. I love hearing that. And, thinking about like this education that you guys went through for like a year, like kind of getting yourself prepped, right? I know a lot of people are going through that, whether they're, thinking about joining Rental Property Pro. Some of my students that are in here are kind of in that I'm perpetually learning stage, right? Where you're at today, finishing up your first project and going through this whole thing versus where you were a year and a half ago. Like, what would you tell that person? Like, what would you want to say to yourself a year and a half ago to kick you in the butt to start making offers or taking action back then?
The longer you wait, the longer it's going to take to get started.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, really. You can do all the research on all different types of companies. You can do due diligence on all of that. And I think when you really come down to it, when you find where you're at right here, see, I'm gonna share something with you. It was kind of shocking for me. I actually found your ad on Facebook.
Okay.
And
Yep.
nothing I have ever really tried to go after on Facebook has ever worked out for me.
Gotcha.
Ever. And so it was a real long shot. And I didn't really take our first meeting all that seriously. We decided to go take the jet skis out and take a break. It was a nice day. And so we went out to the river and he called and I had missed it. And I called him back. And then when we had started talking about things, I started taking it a lot more serious. And I started
Yeah.
doing more research into the Rental Property Pro program and realized, man, I don't want to miss out on this. I want to see more about what they have to offer because everything I was seeing was already lining up with, yes, I've learned a lot of stuff in these categories, but I don't know it all.
Yeah.
And I just saw with your guys' unique model of coaching, I saw an opportunity to be able to get serious and actually make fantasy turn into action,
Yeah.
if that
Yeah.
makes any
Create
sense.
some reality for yourself,
Mhm.
Exactly.
right? Yeah. I love that. And you guys, as much as you talk about how much the coaching and everything has supported you, right? You guys have been model students. You
Thank you.
take action, you take direction, do instead of just learn, right? So all of those things, 100% plays into all the success that you guys have had and are going to keep having. So thank you for being great students at the end of the
Oh,
Thank
day.
thank
you.
you.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't really have a huge other questions. I know everything that you've shared has been super inspiring to everyone who, is going to tune in, but I'd love to leave the floor open to you guys if you have any like final words of wisdom for anyone who's just starting their journey, or anything that's you might want to share with the student body, as this will obviously go out to everyone in the rental property pro community. So feel free.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that everybody takes advantage of the one-on-one coaching calls. I mean,
Yeah.
we do a weekly one with Tim,
Yep.
and take advantage of as many of the group calls as you can. And it's because there's a lot of questions that other students will ask that you wouldn't think of asking.
I
And then
know.
you're like,
I
oh
know.
yeah,
So
that's a
true.
good one. So and take notes, just
Yep.
keep it all there written down in a specific notebook and join those calls. That has definitely been crucial for us.
Yeah, I love that. And I say it before and after every coaching call, group coaching call I do, it's like schedule your one-on-one calls, guys, because
Yep.
that is your fastest way
Yep.
to success, right? And
Yep.
Yep.
the collective mind is always going to be bigger and larger than the individual mind. And that's why we do those Q&A calls. Like you'd be like, oh wow, that's a really good question to ask her. Oh, I
Hmm.
had that problem, but I didn't realize it, right? So, everyone's just learning from everyone, and
Yep.
that's such a huge note to have. I love that. Well, we got a few minutes. Let's just pause for a second. Anybody on the call have any questions for Nick and Courtney? Martin, what do you got, man?
Congratulations, you two. You're definitely inspirational.
Oh, thank
Sorry, I
you.
got a little frog in my voice here this morning. Um, what were there any reservations on leaving your backyard and making that long distance decision?
Mm,
If you
great question.
listen to
Great
different
question.
people, you listen to different people. There are a lot of people that say, "Don't ever do that. It's going to
Mm,
cause pressure issues. You're not there to supervise as if you were, miles or minutes away." So how did that decision get made in an easier way? I mean, how did that? I would have had a very difficult time saying I'm going to buy a home that far away from me. How did you
Yeah.
guys determine to make that choice?
Well, one of the biggest reasons is we live in Oregon, and the housing prices here are just ridiculous. I mean,
Can't do it.
yeah, we couldn't do it. I mean, the most rundown piece of garbage house is worth, $350,000 here, and yeah, the Nora house basically. Um, just being on the calls and working with the coaches, and understanding how to find those areas that are going to appreciate
Mm.
was a key for us. We knew it was going to be difficult. It was very stressful at first, but the biggest thing is
Yeah.
is trying to find the people, finding those boots on the ground that
Yeah.
can look at the houses for you, that can, go take pictures for you. That's definitely helpful and helps kind of ease the stress a little bit. So we found a great rental company there, and they're willing to go. They have project managers that will go out and check the property as it's being worked on for us and take pictures. And so just finding those key people to work with
Mhm.
definitely makes it easier.
I had reservations. Martin, hi. I had reservations about it as I had looked in New York a couple of times prior to even joining the rental property pro group. And, I spent probably, I don't know, $1,500 on inspections. And well worth the cost of it because I found a lot of issues and a lot of problems, and it really scared me. And I'm like, nah, not doing it. I'm walking away. And so I had reservations about it. But the thing is I've seen people like John, I've seen people like Tim go out and actually create these relationships and with these contractors, with the property managers, and they're the same distance away as we are. So I'm like, well, if they can do it, let's learn how they did it and let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you had, second part, did you have to make any hard choices by letting any of your contractors or management companies go because
Mm,
they weren't performing?
good question.
Yeah, well,
Martin with the heavy hitting questions
I
today. I
love
yeah,
it
love
though.
it.
he
That's
is.
good. That's good. He's digging in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these are good.
Well, our management company has been doing a great job so far. Well, we haven't obviously the property's not done yet, and we don't have a renter in there. But our contractor, he said the house would be done this last Friday, like I said, and we flew out there, and unfortunately, it's about 2 weeks behind. So we panicked. On quite honestly, we panicked.
Yep. Yeah, you
But
did.
we just had to, we went to
I
dinner with them.
panicked.
Yeah, we went to dinner with them. We sat them down. We had a very good heart-to-heart talk with them on, what our expectations were, and the fact that, he needed to be at he's got multiple prop jobs going. So we just expected him to be there at the property more often to
Yeah.
make sure the workers are doing what they're supposed to be doing. And so he's performing now. He's getting a lot of things actually got done. over the last couple days since we
Yeah.
left. And so we haven't been quite to that point yet of having,
Tighten that leash though.
yeah, tightened that leash. So
Yeah.
we haven't quite been to the point of needing to fire anybody. So I think the biggest thing is really sitting down with your contractors, excuse me, or your property management and having company policy typed out
Exactly.
and a very clear contract of
Yes.
what your expectations are that are signed.
This is
Yep.
something that we learned that was
Yep.
very critically important. I wanted to share this at some point, so I'm glad you brought it up. But setting up, like Tim had taught us, set up company policies. Have your contractors sign your company policy statement because these are kind of the rules, not kind of, they are the rules of how this is going to be done. We're going to expect photos of all the completed work before we're done. We didn't do that. We got photos, but we didn't see all of what we needed to see
Yeah.
before we paid. So this is another critical part where I would definitely go back and teach anybody and myself, make sure you do your due diligence during the contracting period, during construction.
Yep.
Yeah. Make sure your contractor gives you very good pictures, like Tim always tells us, floor to ceiling,
Yeah,
all four corners, all four
I know. Take a
sides.
video. You can't hide in a video.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's all
or
I always say.
video
We love video.
before you pay.
Yeah.
So,
Unless they go really fast.
yeah, that,
Well, if
yeah,
they're
So
doing that, then you might want to think working with them, I guess, because they should be just showing you good, solid work.
yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing I'd like to share, because I'm a career project manager. I've been doing it for 25 years, but not real estate, but in IT.
Mhm.
But still, for vendor management purposes, one thing I was wanting to carry over into real estate. And John, you've been doing this way longer than me. In
Hey
this
man,
in
I'm
this
always
area,
open to learn. You're not gonna feel free. Send it. What do you got?
we do what's called incentivized contracts.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're working with our vendors, if they deliver on time or ahead, they get an incentive. They
Mm-hmm.
get a bonus. If they don't, if they fall behind, they lose
They
an
penalize.
incentive,
Yep.
or they lose a percentage.
Mhm.
Do they practice that in real estate?
I
Yeah.
like that. We're
So
going
if
to.
you look at our contractor agreements, there is uh, depending on what you guys negotiate and agree on, right? I usually like to call it like a per day per diem penalty, right? It's
Mhm.
like 25 or $50 or $100 a day that you're past the due date of this project being completed, that they will be kind of fined, if you will. And then normally what I have done in the past is work in a percentage of the overall project. So it's a $50,000 renovation, right? If you get finished on time and on budget, right? Okay, you get 3% or 2% of that,
Mm.
right, as a bonus or whatever it might be. So yes, absolutely something you can work in there with your contractor. Yep.
There you go, Nick.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I wrote it down because I did read our contract as we had sent it over, and I realized that, because on part of that contract it states if they finish early, we pay them $100 a day. If they finish late, they pay us $100 a day. So there
Yep.
is a little bit of that in that contract, but I definitely will work with that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, Martin. Great
Yep.
job.
Sure. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Congrats
You bet.
again.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, I know we're almost to the time limit here. First and foremost, again, congratulations on all your success. We are very happy that we got to be a little bit of a part of it and support you guys in this journey. We can't wait to see you buy, 100 more over the course of the next couple
Very
of
talking.
years and get you guys to retirement. But thank you very much for taking the time and being on this call. Have a great weekend, guys. If I don't talk to you, I'm sure I will, but happy holidays and
Yep.
you guys have a good one. Thank you very
All
Thank
much.
you.
right.
Happy
Thank
holidays.
you.
Take care, everyone.